Welcome back to Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. This one is entitled, You Have to Buy Me Ice Cream. And that statement was directed toward my dad. Um, nope, 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 nope. You can't say that to him. I think, in kindergarten, so we're looking at 1984, 5, something like that. Somewhere in there. It had gotten warm out, and my dad decided to take his bicycle out. He had a Schwinn from early 1960s. Guaranteed that's still in his shed. I'm sure he still has it. Is it in perfect condition? Not a chance. Is it fucking vintage classic styling like, a classic car? Oh yeah. Bikes today, no class compared to what they used to be years ago. But anyways, he had this bike for 20 plus years, I'm sure. And on the back of the bike, he had one of those, I think they're outlawed now, one of those like child bicycle seats where when you're a little kid, only the old farts like me are going to remember this. But they had this like child bicycle thing that you could sit your kid in there, and it had a little seatbelt thing. And my dad used to strap me in. The fun part with his bike is it didn't have a kickstand. Maybe that was an option. I don't know, but his bike did not have a kickstand. So he had to hold the bike up and put me in there at the same time and strap me in, and then he'd get on. And man, I remember that. I just remember him putting me in that seat. There were no helmets in these days. None of this stupid shit that we have today. Yeah, did kids fall off and get killed? Sure they did. But that can happen even with a helmet. A Mack truck is running over their head. The helmet ain't going to save them. It's going to crush their skull, and that's the end of that. It's no match for a Mack truck. So anyway, it still happens today. So, they solve one problem and create seven more in its place, as usual. But back in these days, there were no helmets. You just knew to be careful, and people did not have cell phones. So they were paying attention on the road unless they were changing the radio station or trying to reach for something that fell at the previous traffic light. But for the most part, people would pay better attention than they do today. I remember being in that seat as a kid, and I remember my dad would get on the bike, and I remember him just sitting in the seat, and I remember him standing up and still riding the bike kind of thing. Maybe this when he was going to slow down or get off. I just remember him like getting on the bike, getting off the bike. I don't really remember riding around much. It was, well, maybe I do remember. It was kind of a little like pushy shovey kind of thing. It's sort of like if you were ever a passenger in your own car, like if you let somebody else drive your car and you sit in the passenger seat, your car feels like totally different than it does when you drive it. Sort of like that. It had this like pushy pulley kind of thing going on where I'm sure my dad was like, yeah, this is my bike. I just ride it and that's that. And he didn't feel none of that. He just pedaled when he needed to and not when he didn't. I just seem to remember that from fuck knows how many years ago. Anyways, so we're there and he gets on his bike, warm day, might have been May, can't remember. And he gets about a block and he says, oh, gee, got to put some air in the tires. So he says to me, I'm going to go to the gas station at the corner. And around the corner, 2 blocks down, indeed, there was a gas station. And in those days, you had free air. And there's the air hose. So anyway, he stops and he takes me out of the seat because, again, his bike did not have kickstand. Just whatever. And I watched, and Daddy got the air hose, and he unscrewed the little cap, and he put air in it, and he felt the tire, and it felt good to him. He didn't have a tire gauge, or there was no setting on the thing where you could set the PSI, so he just did it kind of by feel, and maybe hopped on the bike for a second or not. But he did like the front tire, and that was all fine and good. And then he went and he did the back tire. And he filled that up, and he felt it, and everything was good. So he leaned the bike against the building or whatever it was, and he goes and he puts the hose back. And I think we were going to go to that same shopping center that I spoke of a couple of old war stories ago that had the barber shop and the couple of banks and the grocery store and the restaurants on the other side, and that we were going to go there. And I don't remember what we needed to do there, but I just looked forward to having a bike ride, and it was a nice day, and I was a little kid. And anyway, he put air in the back tire, and he's rolling the hose up, and he comes back to the bike, and we both hear a noise. And we're like, huh? What the hell? Look down. The back bike tire, already filled with everything there, expanded, boom! The inner tube was 20 some odd years old, and the rubber had gone thin like a balloon there, and just the pressure that was put in was enough to cause that area to make like a balloon and blow the tire up like that and pop the inner tube, and the entire thing went flat. And I forget if we had to walk back, but I said to my dad, "You have to buy me ice cream now." And then, of course, he got combative because now he's got a bike tire it's flat that's got to get fixed. And he's like, "No fucking way, I'm not giving you ice cream. Why? I didn't do this. I didn't expect this to happen. Why do I have to buy you ice cream?" Instead of thinking from the kid's perspective, his day was just ruined. And a, $3 ice cream cone back then would have solved it? No, let me kick and scream for the rest of the day and torment him about this for months after, because that's what kids do. No, for the sake of $3. And as far as I remember, the bike tire with the inner tube, he got one of them inner tube repair kits, slapped a patch on that, and that patch is probably still there today. Could be wrong on that. Might have gotten a new inner tube. Not sure, but putting a patch on it sounds like the right thing that he would have done, instead of getting a new inner tube because the thing was 20 some odd years old. So yeah, fuck me. I didn't get ice cream. And I didn't get a bike ride. And the day was ruined. But yet, here I am. I'm not an entitled millennial. I'm not a fan twerp who doesn't try. Nope. I came out relatively normal. I've got my quirks. There's no question about that. But yeah, I didn't throw a fucking hissy fit. I mean, I did as a kid, but, I never got my ice cream, and that still hurts today. And now I need to call the ambulance. So thanks for watching this episode of Old War Stories with Uncle Jay. Make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe, and take care. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.